Hello, everybody. Welcome to Elite Weather Forecasting. I am your meteorologist, Mr. G, back with you once again. It is Friday evening. I hope you guys had a wonderful week. I hope you have a good weekend coming up, and if you have some good plans and have a great time with whatever outings you have planned. But let's talk about that weather forecast. We're in the Twin Cities today. You can see that very animated sky in the background there. We've just had a very large line of thunderstorms move through town. I had to take an Uber today because I couldn't catch my bus because of a very large thunderstorm that just moved through the Twin Cities. Dropped some hail. We had some ping pong and then some nickel and dime size hail. So we had a hailer today, some very heavy rain, a lot of dangerous lightning, and 65 miles per hour wind. So that storm has just moved through the Twin Cities and is now working its way through the state of Wisconsin. Now this storm extends from Lake Superior all the way down to the Iowa border. It's not a derecho because it's not strong enough, but it has a nice length and a width that will be comparable to a derecho, but it doesn't have quite the wind speeds or anything like that, and it's not moving fast enough, but it's moving fast enough that it made its way through the Twin Cities. It took about an hour, so it's very one of the more significant storms that we've had this summer. It's been fairly dry this summer, so it's been beneficial to get the rainfall, but unfortunately it came down a little bit too fast, so we did have some flooding out there on the highways, especially 394 and 94. We saw some flooding near downtown Minneapolis, and we do have some down power lines and trees around town, so there are some folks out without power across parts of the eastern and southern Twin Cities, as that storm is still moving through our eastern viewing areas. So again, watch for that severe weather. It should quiet down for the rest of today. It did bring those temperatures down. We were 99 today for a heat index, and it is now 67 degrees. So it brought those temperatures down almost 30 degrees. You can see those clouds out there, those cumulonimbus clouds in the background. So we did get that. So a little bit of excitement around here across Minnesota. But let's talk about the weather forecast across the rest of America. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Hawaii as well. So here we are as we take a look at excuse me, as we look at the forecast for where you live. Alright, so we're talking about the rest of the country now and that weather forecast, but we're going to be dealing with some thunderstorms across parts of the country, and we're still dealing with the effects of Hurricane Dora across the island of Maui and Lahaina this evening. The fire is still raging out of control. It's not under any control yet, but you can see some of the damage here in this photograph that was caused by that fire that completely devastated the town of Lahaina and took the lives of over 55 people across the island of Maui. So very disturbing images, a disturbing situation out there, and let's pray for the folks, the rescuers and the firefighters and all the folks putting their lives on the line for the safety of others and to help protect the life and property. But let's continue with our weather forecast, where we are dealing with some active severe weather this afternoon and evening across parts of America. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect across parts of the upper Midwest, southwestern Minnesota, southwestern Iowa, northwestern Missouri, northeastern Kansas, and southeastern Nebraska. So we have that area along the Red River that is dealing with severe thunderstorm watch. And there is another severe thunderstorm watch way down in the south there near Albany, Georgia, southeastern Alabama and southwestern Georgia, we have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect across that area. So now let's talk about that severe thunderstorm watch that we have, that severe thunderstorm threat for tonight. And we do have a severe thunderstorm likelihood up here across from Minnesota down through Wisconsin, Michigan, as well as through Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Missouri, eastern Nebraska, and eastern Kansas. And then again, we have a slight risk for severe thunderstorms across southern Arkansas, north central Texas, and south central Oklahoma through Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and into South Carolina. So a lot of potential out there for severe thunderstorms across the South and through a major portion of the Midwest this evening. So again, pay attention to your local weather and your local weather conditions, and be prepared and ready to take action in the event that you have to deal with some severe weather. And we are looking at the threat for tornadoes, some damaging winds, a very large hail up to 3 inches in diameter, 75-mile-an-hour winds, especially down here through parts of northwestern Missouri and Kansas and Nebraska, and then through Iowa. Up here, we're going to be dealing with mostly hail and strong wind threat across the extreme of the upper Midwest through Wisconsin and Minnesota and over into Michigan. And we're going to be seeing some heavy rain and large hail down along the south as well, and gusty winds. So we will be dealing with that severe weather threat. I'm going to step off the camera so you can see these three. And for both for Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday, we are going to be dealing with that potential for severe weather through the Northeast on Saturday, and we're going to be seeing it through the Midwest on Sunday, and through parts of the Appalachian and the southern Ohio and Tennessee Valley on Monday. So we will be seeing that threat there for severe weather. So I will keep you guys updated and provide forecasts for these regions as we move through the weekend and into your upcoming Monday. Now let's talk about that severe weather threat across the Northeast tomorrow. So from upstate New York through parts of western Massachusetts, Rhode Island, maybe southern New Hampshire and Vermont, and through Pennsylvania, we're going to be seeing that severe weather threat, and through Ohio and the Ohio Valley and down towards Tennessee and Arkansas, we're going to be looking at that severe thunderstorm threat. And especially up here across the Northeast and into the Ohio Valley, we have an increased risk of tornadoes in that area, and we are going to be dealing with some large hail and damaging winds up to 70 miles an hour, and heavy rain could become excessive and lead to flash flooding, especially the parts of New England. So we're going to once again deal with the possibility of excessive rainfall in the Northeast once again. So let's talk about that forecast. Here's our future radar here, and this is those thunderstorms that we're going to be seeing moving across the Northeast and along the eastern seaboard as we move into your Saturday. So we're going to be seeing those thunderstorms moving out of the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes, and they're going to race across the Northeast and into New England and off the Atlantic coast. So we will be seeing those severe thunderstorms associated with a cold front in that area. So again, pay attention to your local weather forecast and be prepared and weather aware. Again, here's that flash flood threat. We do have that slight flash flood threat, so we have a possible threat. And the good news is these storms are going to be moving through rather quickly, so they're not going to be raining for over the same area for a long period of time. So we're not going to have to worry about a high accumulation of rainfall, because we're going to have rapidly departing storms. So that is going to be a bit of good news, which will minimize the threat for flash flooding and other river flooding. We still have heat to talk about. I'm going to step back off the camera so you can see this map across the great state of Texas. Once again, we're going to be dealing with that heat today, where we saw those temperatures about 107 degrees up there in Dallas and in Midland as well. But it's 100 in Tulsa, and we're seeing those temperatures 101 as far south as New Orleans. But it's 99 in Jackson, Mississippi, 93 for you folks in Memphis. But don't forget, we still have high heat indexes that's bringing those temperatures up to 110 to 115 degrees. So again, take precaution in the heat. Drink plenty of fluids. Take it easy and seek shade and shelter. Don't be outside in the middle of the day doing strenuous activities. The heat will continue to blast the south. As you can see, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Not much change in that weather forecast at all. The state of Texas have been in the triple digits for the last 35 days. Consecutive temperatures in the triple digits. All the folks that's going to be above 90 for the next 3 days, you see there in the red. The gray is over 100 degrees, so it's going to be very hot down across the south central United States and across the desert Southwest, which naturally occurs this time of the year in the Southwest with the heat. So we have our heat alerts across the South, and we have our excessive heat warning through most of Texas, through Louisiana, a good portion of southern Mississippi, and down into Alabama. But we have our heat advisory across Kansas, southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, north central Oklahoma, north central into west Texas, extreme south central Texas, and across the state of Florida, where we have our heat advisories in place. Now, let's talk about the hurricane. Hurricane Dora has had quite the life cycle. Dora started as a tropical depression off the coast of Mexico, and it has traveled across the central Pacific, past the state of Hawaii. Now it's headed towards the international date line, getting ready to cross over toward the South Pacific. This has had one of the longest lifespans of any hurricane in the Eastern Pacific. This guy has traveled thousands of miles across the state, down south of the state of Hawaii. Look at where it's came from. Look at it. Now it's out here just about shy of the international date line. It is a Category 3 hurricane with 120 mile per hour winds, but as it's going to continue as it heads off a little bit to the west northwest, but it's going to remain hurricane status. By the time we get to Sunday morning, it's going to weaken to a Category 1 hurricane, but still remain at hurricane status. This is the track that Dora has taken. It originated just off the coast of Mexico, and it headed due west across the Central Pacific. There is Hawaii there, and look at it right now, just about to cross the international date line. And it's going to continue to move towards the Western Pacific and probably strengthen as it gets towards south of Indonesia, and maybe turn towards and this is Polynesia out here, Tahiti, Bongo, so the South Pacific Islands. This is where Guam and the Marshall Islands. So eventually it's going to re-strengthen as it moves off into this region. So Dora's not done yet by any stretch of the imagination, and this is quite possibly can be the longest lasting hurricane ever in the Pacific. Ever. In the longest lasting. So it's a pretty historic hurricane to deal with here. So we're going to continue. I'm going to continue to track Dora's process. I expect it to strengthen as it moves towards the Western Pacific and start to interact with Indonesia, maybe the South Japanese Sea, like south of Japan. So again, I'm excited. I'm interested to see what happens with Dora, as her story is not over yet, after she helped to cause that devastation across Maui and Lahaina, that unfortunate situation. The hurricane didn't even strike Hawaii. What it did was cause winds on the outer bands, the extreme outer bands, to gust up to 60 miles per hour, and as well as the prevailing high pressure and the trade winds combined to whip up those fires. And that it's already, the western side of Hawaii have had drought conditions this summer and this year. The west side, the eastern side of Hawaii has had a lot more rainfall, but the western side of the islands have had much less rain than the east, as those trade winds are blowing from east to west. So most of the precipitation has been falling on the eastern side of like the Big Island and things like that. So that excessive dryness, parched vegetation, those fires got started. And it was just out of control. Those 60 plus mile an hour winds, plus a very rough seas. The surf has been very high, so it's been very difficult to fight those fires, and it's still, to this day, to this moment, out of control. So that is your weather forecast for today, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. G, your meteorologist. Thank you for watching me. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe to me on YouTube. Follow me on TikTok. You can leave comments and put your little heart things there as well. I appreciate your support and your love, everybody. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow evening. Bye-bye.